Please support my GoFundMe campaign and help me stay in the US. Link in description. Thank you.
I kind of feel like I don't belong anywhere. But Iggy Pop, respect to him.
That's amazing.
Type O Negative is a magical band.
You're 3 days into New York at that point. How much has your perspective changed from 3 days here to 90?
Well, I've realized that everything is pretty much the same everywhere. Life is life.
People are people.
People are people. Imagine all the people, you know.
Yeah. How different of city life is it in St. Petersburg? I mean, compared to New York City. I mean, there's nothing like New York City, but like, I'd imagine there's nothing like...
Like pace-wise, it's slower. St. Petersburg is pretty slow and more depressed, I would say. And the weather is different.
Yeah, so that has to make for a great music scene.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of rock bands and metal bands.
Was there a music scene in Russia, like, before as well? Like, were you kind of like, was there an active scene that you were...
Yes, I had a band. I had musicians, and we played everywhere, in small clubs and bars and basements.
So I discovered you through the Type O Negative covers. So when you put out the Acoustic Rust album, were you living in Russia at the time, or...
Acoustic Rust, I was in Moscow.
You were in Moscow at that time.
Yeah.
So were you... I've never been to Moscow or Russia for that matter, but I've heard that that metal is popular there. So were people familiar with Type O Negative when you covered it out there?
Yeah, people love Type O Negative. And not only in Moscow, but I did shows in Krasnodar. I did a show in Minsk, Belarus, which is a country close to Russia. And every time people loved it when I played Type O Negative. Loved it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Type O Negative is a magical band. Connects people.
Yeah. From all the years of interviewing bands, I really did learn on how metal is like universal. Like I think I've interviewed a band now from every single state, but like I've also interviewed bands from all over Europe, but then like places like Gaborone, Botswana, or the Faroe Islands, or like I've interviewed bands from India, from South Africa, from all over the place, like Southeast Asia. It's crazy how like metal has really just echoed that far out.
Yeah, I've heard that metal is really popular in Latin America, in Brazil.
Oh,
and I have listeners in Brazil. Hello.
Yeah, I mean, the metal scene I heard in South America, Central America,
it's crazy. They have rock festivals with thousands of people.
I've heard people refer to it like warm Sweden, pretty much.
Yeah.
You were classically trained. We talked about a little bit before. So, and when you and I were playing together, because we both play metal songs on the piano, so being classically trained, how did you almost have to unlearn your classical training in order to learn how to play metal?
That's the word. I had to unlearn, because when I was a kid, I used to be a better player. I used to play more complicated stuff, like Beethoven and Mozart and I want to say it in Russian, Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, you know. So, but then when I started playing pop music, and when I started experimenting, and I need to sing and play at the same time. So what do? It cannot be too difficult. So I started simplifying everything, and I started creating a wall of sound, and I used a lot of bass notes. I always use this register. Always, because it sounds good.
It's like playing power chords on the piano.
Yeah, it's like playing Trapped.
So I wanted to mention, because Trapped, I loved the guitar playing in that. Who was that guitar player?
It was Harel Yaffe, beautiful guitarist, Israeli guitarist, and we recorded in a small room, just at his place, and he's crazy talented. He's one of the most talented people I've ever met.
But you are a great reflection on how classical music and metal are pretty much the same thing. They've said that Mozart invented metal, or Beethoven.
Pretty much everything comes from classical music.
Yeah, so everything. Like
Yeah.
Did you? So that when you told me that you had to unlearn things, I'm like, part of me is wondering, are really like? I mean, there is the intensity that you hear in classical music is very prevalent in metal. So I find it like crazy. I never heard other artists I asked about this said that they had to unlearn anything.
With me, yes. Maybe because of the type of music that I do, and I still don't have a band. I will at some point, but for now, it's just me and the piano. So I have to adapt.
Yeah. Well, so when you collaborate with other bands, like being featured on October Noir's album and like singing along with them, and does that maybe make it easier? Do you find it easier if you're with a band? Because is that almost like less work you have to do in a way?
It is so much fun, I would say. It's a different work, but I loved it so much. Yeah, I would say it's a little bit less.
Yeah.
It's easier, especially when you're on stage and you're not glued to a piano. You can move, you can dance, just talk to the audience, and it's brilliant.
So you prefer to move around more when you're playing live?
Both. So ideally, I would love to have a band, but some songs I would do acoustically, and the rest we could do just a proper rock show.
Well, I mean, one of the things I gave your music so much praise for is that I feel like it has the same fulfillment as a band would.
Like, thank you.
Like I always go back to the Acoustic Rust, but I will get to the new album.
That's a huge
I want
compliment.
to talk about
Thank
that. But
you.
like, when I listened to your Acoustic Rust album, it sounded like I was hearing Peter, Kenny, Josh, and Johnny.
God.
Like in the same.
That's such a compliment.
But the same fulfillment. It had the same sort of fulfillment factor behind it. It sounded like a whole album. It didn't feel like, I knew it was a solo record, but it didn't feel like a solo record.
Thank you.
What I mean? So it's all in your technique. With classical music, you can't. With classical music, how did you have to think differently? Because with classical music, you can't think like a solo.
More elements. So, for example, I don't know, classical music you do, okay?
Yeah.
I don't do it now. I just play, and that's it.
Yeah, but I think like a lot of there's a lot of elements in your technique that sound very classical as well.
Probably.
I think you
Probably it's just my upbringing, and it's just
yeah, you bridged the two together. I feel like you didn't. You said you unlearned, but you definitely didn't abandon it.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. What was your gateway into metal?
My gay way
Yeah.
to metal.
Because I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious. How did you go from classical into metal?
Well, long story short,
I remember you told me John Lennon was.
I was 6 when I heard John Lennon because of my father, obviously. I was 6 when I heard the Beatles and John Lennon, and I started learning their songs and learning English, and then when I was a teenager, I discovered Avril Lavigne and her album Let Go.
I love Avril
like
Lavigne.
My gateway.
I love Avril Lavigne. I was much younger when I
Let
heard
Go,
her.
and I was like, oh, this is heavy.
Hey, at the time when we're
Losing
kids,
grip, like, should I go?
when we're young kids,
Yes.
I mean, like that is heavy. Like, I mean,
Heavy.
Like I remember being 6 when I heard Skater Boy, and my mom thought that was like devil music at that time. So,
Yes.
so.
But at the same time,
I love Avril Lavigne. I will die on that hill. So.
she's great, and because I grew up in Saint Petersburg and it was really close to Finland.
Yeah.
And I would go to Finland and Sweden, like a few times. I loved it there. I had friends there.
Was it like going like?
Exactly.
It was like going to New Jersey from here.
Exactly. You would pay. They would give visas to everyone. It's not like that anymore. And you would pay like 400 rubles to 500, which is nothing. Like 5 hours, and you're in Helsinki.
Wow, that's one hell text message.
Yours? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I discovered Finnish rock bands. I was a huge fan. I'm still a huge fan of him. I love them. The 69 Eyes, him. Children of Bottom. So, some Swedish bands, I think, too.
Yeah, I mean...
Satyricon, black metal. Oh, yeah.
You covered Mother North when you came to rehearse, and I was like, that was fucking amazing. That was...
Mother North, let me try to play
Are you
it.
going to be able to fit through? We moved the table in front. Oh man, I wanted to... I know that.
Yeah, I love Mother North.
Yeah, that's classic.
That's classic.
Yeah, so him was amazing too. So
And
like
him, I was a huge fan of him, and then seeing and meeting Ville Valo in real life, which happened when I was 19 in 2010, I think. Yeah, I went to Finland to a rock festival called Sphere. I just saw Slayer there and Iron Maiden, and it was really cool. And there was him, of course.
Slayer, Iron Maiden, and him were all playing at the same festival? Or?
Same festival, yeah.
Oh, wow.
There was also a huge rainstorm or something. 3 people died. Motley Crue didn't even play.
Oh wow, that's...
Yeah, and it sucked because so many fans gathered from all around the world to see Motley Crue, and they kind of refused to play after the, raining situation. But Iggy Pop, respect to him, he just did an acoustic performance.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was awesome. It was like raining, it was mayhem around.
I fucking love Iggy Pop too.
And he was like, let's do it like we used to do it in the ancient days, and he did an amazing performance. So after that, me and my friend, we returned to Helsinki, and she was like, do you want to see where he lives? I was like, it's a bit intrusive, I don't know, I'm a fan, but... And he lived in the tower at that time.
I'm trying to picture this.
In the tower, like a medieval tower,
Yeah.
which suits Ville Valo.
Yeah, no.
He sold it already.
It's like making too much sense.
He sold it already a few days ago. What? So, and we just went to see it, and he was, I think, coming out of a supermarket with like a full bag of products and food. And we were just crazy fans. Oh my God, so embarrassing. And
look, when I interviewed him, I was losing my mind too. So.
You interviewed him?
You didn't? I thought I told you that. You never saw my interview with Ville Valo?
Maybe I did. Maybe I forgot. What?
Yeah.
So we said hi to him. He smiled, and my friend, she started running after him to get a picture.
Yeah.
She tried to get a picture, tried her best, but he said no and closed the door right in front of her face.
Was she okay?
She was okay. It was like the adrenaline was running.
Oh my God, I feel...
It was shocking. I still have a video.
Did that ruin the night for you all?
No, it didn't ruin anything. But after that, I got so inspired that I went back to my city and I wrote my first album. Just like that, because of meeting Ville Valo.
So you wrote your first
Because of
album.
Ville Valo. And my first song, like proper song, it was called We Will Sing Together, about me and him.
Hey, that may
We
be
will sing together.
Never say never. Never say never. In fact, I would love to hear your voice sung on Ville Valo.
I would love it. I would love to sing with him. Yeah.
That would make
He's
like
great.
the most romantic sounding album ever, I feel. I think your voice and hers would be
Yeah. So tell me
incredible.
about your impression of him.
When I first interviewed him,
Yeah.
he was super nice. He was super chill, very
Like in
professional.
real life, like he
No,
was
it
in
was
the States?
it was over Zoom.
Okay.
So for his solo album, which was incredible, he's actually like super down to earth, super chill, very smart. He's like very intelligent.
Yeah.
Like I was able to ask him like my very complicated questions, and like it wouldn't and he was able to just answer them perfectly.
Okay, ask me some complicated questions.
What is the formula for displacement in physics? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's black.
Exactly. That's the answer to all of it. But I could see you and Ville Valo doing, because it's evident on Pitch Dark Red Light as well. who were you singing? Was that October Noir you were singing with in Just Like You, or
Yeah, Sinner Just Like You. It's my duet with October Noir.
yeah?
But this time I wrote a song for my album, and
Yeah.
it's our second duet.
Yeah, so they had the songs written that you collaborated on. This time,
Yeah, but this time it's different. It's different.
That's cool.
I wanted to challenge them, and especially Tom, because usually October Noir is a heavy band and they have a lot of layers of instruments. But I wanted them to go almost acoustically, okay? Because when there's not much going on in the arrangement, all is left is just your vocals and your emotions. So I wanted it to be vulnerable and sensitive. Yeah.
This is not like shitting on rock by any means or anything like that, but I feel like there is an element of hiding behind rock in a way, because your voice is not naked. Like, I'm just going to say this right now.
It's not.
Respects to all the rock guitar players that are out there, but they have plenty of distortion to glide on. They have plenty of atmosphere to sort of fall back on, versus like a jazz guitarist or an acoustic guitarist that they slightly botch a note. There's no hiding.
Well, whatever works for you, whatever suits you. So
yeah, of course. So like, it was cool, like to hear October Noir and that sort of naked sort of aspect. That sounded scary. Now next you got to do a duet with Ville Valo.
Yeah. You're killing me.
One day it will happen. It will happen.
But also I have another duet on my album. Oh yes. With Dennis.
Yeah. So
okay.
So tell me how Don't Be Afraid sort of came to be.
I love Don't Be Afraid so much. I listen to it every time I fly somewhere on a plane, and then sometimes I'm afraid, or like I'm afraid to make a step and do something in my life, and I listen to my own voice saying Don't Be Afraid, and it works. So I kind of see music as it's my form of therapy. So I wrote Don't Be Afraid to calm myself, to tell myself that it's okay. No matter how scared you are, keep doing it. Keep doing it. And Dennis was perfect for that. I love his voice. He truly shines. And he did an arrangement. He produced it. So I sent him the song, the piano track and my vocals, and he produced it, played the guitars. He's multi-talented.
Singing together with somebody, because you shine when you're solo, but when you sing with somebody, is it a different technique? Singing with somebody, like, do you have to adjust your voice to sort of match theirs or harmonize with theirs?
Well, I cannot really change my tone. It's pretty much the same, but yes, I have to adjust, especially in terms of harmonies and who sings what. For example, in Sinner, you hear Tom singing the main vocal melody, and I sing the upper. How do you call it? The upper part.
Yeah, the upper part.
Let's call it. Upper part. Okay. So Tom sings.
That sounds like a boxing move.
So Tom sings, "Can't erase, can wash it all away," and I sing, "Can't erase, can wash it," and it should match. You should not overshadow each other. You should let each other shine, you know?
And again, I think that you shine great when you're collaborating with October Noir.
Thank you.
And when you're collaborating with all these artists. And I like hearing it in a rock atmosphere, and I like hearing it in a more acoustic atmosphere.
Cool.
It seems like Pitch Dark Red Light, the album cycle is here in the US too.
Yeah.
Going from Russia to Tel Aviv to here now.
Yeah.
Like
the journey.
Yeah, the journey is like awesome. So what's your plan in the USA? Because you've made your mark in Russia, you've made your mark in Israel. Now it's time to make your mark in the US. This is like the final boss, if you will.
Exactly. They say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. But it's the final boss. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Unless they get me deported. But so I just want to find my place, and that's my problem, because I kind of feel like I don't belong anywhere. I like everything. I like every city. I like every country I visit, and I want to find my place. So I like New York, but I'm not sure if it's my final destination.
Yeah.
So maybe LA, maybe Nashville.
That Nashville would be great.
Nashville, maybe. I'm not sure with the type of music that I do. It's pretty gloomy. It's rock.
There's an artist based out of
not
there
sure,
who's in Nashville. She's
Yeah.
called Phantom Lady. You would like her music a lot. I think it attracts like the same audience or same style.
But also Nashville is a small city, right? It's like a much smaller.
Yeah, it's a good city to network. It's a great music city from what I understand, and it's like a promised land for a lot of musicians. And yes, it is smaller, so it's not as overwhelming. I think that whole feeling of trying to find your place or feeling like you don't belong anywhere, that's just evident in every big city. I mean, I don't know if that same feeling is in St. Petersburg or is in Tel Aviv, but like I know that in Los Angeles and New York City, any big city has that constant feeling of loneliness that you don't belong anywhere.
I know. That's what I heard about New York.
And
is that you can be the loneliest you've ever been, you know?
it's true.
Here.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
but do you feel like it's your home?
yeah, absolutely. It
You
feels
feel
like,
at home?
Yeah, but it took a long time for it to feel that way.
How long?
I've lived in New York now for over 12 years.
And before that?
I've lived in upstate New York for the first 18 years of my life. So
What is what is upstate?
Rockland County, just 70 miles
It's
up
like
north.
a small.
Yeah, it's like a small little, I grew up in like a small town outside of the city.
And probably you had a house,
Yeah,
not an apartment.
yeah, exactly.
I love houses. I love this culture, you know, when people have own a house.
Yeah,
To me, it's like my childhood. Because in Russia, I don't know, in the Soviet times it was like that, and when I grew up it was like that. You had an apartment and a country house, so 2 places to live. So you would spend, like when it's cold, you're in the city. When it gets warmer, you go to a country. You spend the summer, you know, in the country house,
that's amazing.
around nature, and
That's amazing.
so it reminds me of that. So I love America for that.
Yeah.
So loneliness.
So I gotta,
loneliness in big cities.
but I gotta ask,
Yeah.
has that inspired any music? Have you taken any?
Tons of my music, tons of my songs are inspired by loneliness.
I know a lot of the songs we hear now are inspired by loneliness, but
Yeah.
do you have ideas for your next music now? Because I think your experience in the U.S. has provided quite a
Yeah,
bit.
it's definitely, it will not be that much loneliness anymore, but it will be some even darker topics.
Care to hint?
Not really. Maybe like human relationships too.
Yeah.
Maybe just exploring parts of yourself. I don't know, both dark and good.
I mean, that's.
I love human psychology, so yeah.
So you're. Well, then you're in the city for human psychology if you want to just
And
experience.
I would love to explore human relationships too, because my music is not really about relationships or love, because I cannot write about that. It's just not my forte. But maybe I should try, because it's very challenging for me. It's challenging. I'd rather write about loneliness. I'd rather write about something else.
Yeah,
you know?
You know what's funny is as a kid, I used to ask, why are there so many songs about love? Why are there so many love songs? Why are there so many love songs? And now that I've discovered metal, I'm asking myself, why are there so many songs about loneliness? Why are there so many songs about being alone?
Yeah, there's something in common, you know?
Yeah.
In every.
Yeah. So what is your plan now for the USA? Like, because you're planning to go to NAMM?
Yeah, I'm going to NAMM in January, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be my first NAMM.
I could tell you that my first time at NAMM was incredible. It was like visiting the Holy Land for music. It was.
Should I stay for the whole week?
Yes. Yes, if you can, stay for the
Like
whole
from
week.
Tuesday to Sunday, I think.
Yeah, if you could get access to it. I mean, if you have like I don't know what type of pass you have, because like there's certain days.
I need to buy it. Do you have a discount?
We'll talk. But
So yeah, but my plan is definitely going to NAMM, and then maybe I'll stay in LA. I don't know about that, but I definitely need to work on my talent visa. By the way, guys, you can donate. There's a fundraiser on GoFundMe. Yeah, I'll talk about it in a different video.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just want to stay here and work as an artist. Yeah.
Do you plan on playing more shows in
Yeah.
New York City?
In New York City, That would be good.
Yeah, there has to be more shows.
So there's one place which is pretty legendary, the Bitter End, I think.
Yeah, I love that spot.
Yeah, because
never played
Lady
there
Gaga
either.
performed there before she got famous.
Yep.
And I was really inspired by her when she just emerged. And
Yep. The Parkside Lounge, I believe she also played in before she was famous.
yeah, and she was also like playing keys and playing Led Zeppelin.
God, she's so fucking talented. What?
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Nadia, for again.
Thank you.
It's like such an honor to say that I played my first U.S. show, or I played my first. I got to play your first U.S. show.
Oh, come on!
No,
I played at your first show.
you. No, that was like my that was like my seventh show altogether. But like it was an honor to play with you because again, I followed your music on YouTube, not knowing where you were from or whatever. I just saw your typo covers and went down a rabbit hole. I never would have thought that I would be sitting here with you in my apartment.
Life is incredible.
Yep,
Isn't it?
Yeah, I've always wanted we all have those bucket list things, and I've wanted to play. I've always said I want to play at least one show one day with an artist I admire, regardless of who it is. You were an artist I looked up to for years before we met, so thank you.
Oh gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Nadia. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thanks for watching.